Hosted by Mike, the Big Cheese.
All right, welcome back to the Heavy Metal Mayhem Radio Show. It is May 10th. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, including my wife, my daughter in law, my sister, and my mom up in heaven. Hope everybody had a great Mother's Day. We got a killer show for everybody tonight. John Ricci, you know him from Exciter and his brand new band, Powerrage. We'll be talking to John in about a half hour. So, right there, TT Quick, Go for the Throat. Love those guys. I can't even count how many times I saw TT Quick back in the 80s. They always were a great live band. And I saw them maybe about 15 years ago. They did a festival in New Jersey. It was like a little thing with TT Quick. I think Twisted Sister on the bill, the Rods. It was for raising money for I think Sandy, which was a storm we had here in New York around 2012. So it was good to see them live again. And right now, Accept, Mark being the singer for Accept, is out on the road. They're doing their 50th anniversary tour. It's hard to imagine that it was 50 years since Accept came, if that's what you want to call them today. It's only really Wolf left in the band out of those original guys, but they're out there playing for the 50th anniversary of Accept. They have a beautiful box set out on Napalm Record. It's a double vinyl, I think, and two CDs, and there are packages that come with T-shirts, autographs, and a whole bunch of other great stuff, booklets. So if you're interested in it, go and pick it up. All right, I'm going to do as little talking as I can today because I had a lot of dental work done in my mouth yesterday, and I have fake teeth in, a brace on my mouth. It's really hard to talk and open it up. Not that it's any better than any other week, but it's a little bit more harder this week. So I'm going to keep the chit chat down to a minimum. But how about we do some Oliver Magnum right now? I'll get the move these braces over a little bit. Maybe I can talk a little better, and we'll keep the show going from there. You can't talk about great Canadian metal without talking about Witch Killer. They are just phenomenal. Day of the Saxon. I can't wait for Kurt to put out some more music. We got new music coming soon, I'm sure, and I can't wait for it because it's just a great band. Snow White before that. Can somebody find Nicole? We have to get a reunion. Greg Fulton is still here. Let's get this reunion going. Let's make it happen. Just go find her. I mean, I've been looking for her for years. Maybe they know where she is, but I know I couldn't find her. But man, I love Snow White. Rock City Destination. And before that, Alva Magnum with The Last Prophet. Hope everybody's enjoying the show so far. Like I said, I have a lot of dental work going on in my mouth right now. I got these two type of retainers in. It's making it really hard to talk. But we're going to get through the show the best we can. All right, what can we do now? Kiss. I got to tell you, for a band that retired 2.5 years ago, they're pretty busy. They had the live show at the Kiss Cruise the Landlocked thing. Now they release new music. So for a band that retired, I mean, I know I retired. I don't really want to do anything that has to do with my job. But I've been retired for about 3 years now, so I don't get it. Why do bands? I mean, I know it's like a money grab. They say we're going to leave, we're going to retire, and then they make this big thing out of it, and then all of a sudden they don't. They just keep going on and on and on. Slayer came back, Kiss has come back, Ozzy did it a couple of times, Motley Crue has done it. Too many bands to even name. I really respect the bands that don't say they're gonna retire, and they just keep going for as long as they can. Then when it ends, it ends. Somebody was talking to Phil Moog the other day from UFO. He's like, "It's too late for us. It's too late to come back and do shows. We said it was over. It's over." I hope he really means that. And that's not in a bad way. UFO are a great band, but there's a time span for everything. There's a time in your life for things that happen, and time when there's time not to make them happen. So when bands retire, they should stay retired. The music always lives on. It's like when I watch a movie and the movie's like so great. I'm like, oh man, I love this movie. I can't believe this and that. And then you realize the guy who made the movie's been dead for 20 years, but they live on in those movies, and it feels like you're in that little time capsule. So it's the same with music. We don't need Foreigner with no original Foreigner members playing. We don't need Quiet Riot with no original Quiet Riot members playing. And you don't have that key guy in the band at least trying to keep it, to what it used to be. I'm going off a whole different subject now. I went from retirement to the band's playing with no original members, but I'm just saying, when you say you're going to retire, just retire. Don't rook the fans that way. They go out and they spend big money on the overpriced tickets for the final show. They go out and buy all your merchandise, and the next thing you know, you're doing something a week later, or a month later, or 2 years later. It feels like you're taking away from them. So if you're going to do that, just don't. Just keep going until you really can't go no more. Then stop. All right, enough about that. I didn't want to do that much talking, right? All right, let's get back to Fates Warning. Here's another band that, you talk to one member of the band, like, we're not in contact with anybody from the band. The other guy says, we are in contact with each other, but we don't think we're going to have any shows. Nothing's going to happen. Then a week later, like, well, we got to get on the same page and make it happen. I would love to see a Fates Warning show. I would love to see it with John Arch again. I know they got Ray Alden in the band for a long time, but get John Arch back in, do like a reunion type of tour, and that would be great to see. It's the same thing now with, what do you call it? Dragon Force. They got Elisa White Gloves from from Arch Enemy singing for them now. Isn't that kind of like a step down going from Arch Enemy to Dragon Force? I mean, that's what I'm thinking about it. I know the singer Mark, he has hearing trouble, a little bit of hearing loss, tinnitus, and that's going to happen to you after a while, being up on stage with all that loud music coming out of you. So they brought Elisa in for the live shows, and she's a part of the band. So they're like, we're working on new music with both of them, singing on there. So they're trying to do a Halloween. And, it kind of worked for Halloween. I didn't think it would work for Halloween for that long. I thought it was just gonna be that one reunion tour with, with Kiska singing again. But they managed to make it work, and fans are loving it. I think Dragon Force is going to try to do the same thing, but they're not even at the level that Halloween is. So I mean, how it works, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Fates Warning. All right, that was Egypt with On the Road. Before that, Dark Song was Killed in Action. Such a great band out of Germany back in the day. I tried to look up those guys a while ago and I couldn't find any members of the band. Maybe I'll try again now that Facebook is, big. Did this very early on before Facebook even started. It was much harder back then trying to find band members to get on the show. It's a little easier today, but great band. Fates Warning, Traveler in Time. Let's see what happens with those guys if they ever do get back together to put out new music or even tour. We'll see what happens. But I'll tell you what, let's play some Exciter first. We'll talk to John after that. Then we get on some Powerrage from his new band. I always play stuff off the first two records for some reason. I never play anything off Long Live the Loud. So why don't we do that right now? And then we'll talk to John. Here you go.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? Let me
Good.
get that on. All right.
How you
Hey,
doing?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to talk with you. I go back to you from the early '80s with Exciter, and I'm so happy that you're
Right.
back with a brand new record, man. This is unbelievable.
Well, I had to move on because a lot of stuff happened over the years, and I just needed to create something fresh and new, and but not abandon uh, you know, the old Exciter kind of vibe that I had going back in the day.
Well, so many people expect you to redo Excited with your new band, Powerrage, but you went in a whole completely different direction. I mean, even Jacques doesn't sound like the Jacques that we got back in the Excited days. I mean, this is
Uh,
somebody said, John reinvented metal again in a comment on one of your videos. I was like, that is so great that, because you so involved in the first scene and now this one.
well, as far as the vocals, Jacques is an awesome singer. And we've been friends since the middle 80s when I met him. But on this record, uh, I wrote all the melodies for the vocals. So what Jacques is singing, uh, um, his rendition of what my vision was, in the studio, I would actually mimic the vocals and then he would sing it. So, and I was very particular about the way I wanted the vocals to go. So I would dissect every lyric, every vowel, every pronunciation, because I knew the end result, people were going to love it. I was trying to mix with this songwriting that I've done on this record. I was trying to mix the old with the new. So, and darker and a little more doomy sounding. I think I nailed it because the reviews have been over the top,
Yeah,
like all over the friggin' world. Like
absolutely.
I'm kind of like taken aback a little bit because I wasn't expecting so many people to tap in to what I was going for. Sometimes bands, on their next album, they figure, well, let's experiment a little bit and see what happens. Uh, but I was really focused on what I wanted to do. So I'm so happy that the feedback has been incredible. I've been doing Zoom interviews for like 2 months.
Yeah.
One after another, after another, after another, and the PR guy at our record company, High Roller Records, he keeps sending me requests. Hey, John, can you do this date? Hey, John, can you do that date? I'm happy to do all of them. Yeah, yeah.
It's terrible to be wanted, huh? Everybody wants you right
Well,
now.
like many, like all musicians that you probably know or spoken to over time, the little kid in you that wants to, make records and tour and have people know your talent, recognize your talent. At my age, this is very gratifying, like I know I wasn't really with my Exciter history, uh, you know, I just felt I'm not at the end of the journey yet, and this album came out of me because out of 40 years of frustration, Exciter's always been kind of like this underground band and, you know, uh, but I just felt like in some cases, Exciter was underrated.
Yeah,
Like, as far as like the big business people around the world, I think, we started something unique, and which I think in the early 80s was ahead of its time. So
absolutely.
yeah. So and we played, New York a few times, and we played L'Amour in Brooklyn
Yep.
once. I go a few times, and then when we were on the Motorhead tour, we came through New York. I can't remember the venue.
I think it was
Uh,
the Ritz in Manhattan.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
remember that
remember.
show.
I remember me and Lemmy, like we were staying in the same hotel, and we had a Sunday off. I think it was either the day after the show or the day before the show. So Motorhead and Exciter were in the same hotel. So I think it was a Sunday. So Sorry, I have to tell you this story, this Lemmy story. I know
Yeah,
you've already heard a lot of them. So, so I went down into the lobby and I was just going to walk around and stop at a deli and have a bite to eat, just walk. And I believe in those days on Sundays, the shops were not open, I think.
yeah, a lot of them
But anyways,
close.
I meet Lemmy in the lobby, and he says, "Hey, John, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I'm just going to walk downtown and just hang out." And he had a lady friend with him, and he says to me, "Do you mind if I join you?" Well,
Eh,
well, I said, "Well, yeah, of course, no problem." So we walked around down the streets of New York City, and he's into the World War One
Yeah,
and World War Two memorabilia. So some of the shops that had that kind of theme in their front window, we'd stop, and Lemmy would name every memorabilia. If it was a coat or a gun or something, he would name everything in the window.
wow.
It was crazy. So yeah, New York. I love New York.
Yeah. Well, I saw you at all those Lamar shows at the Ritz. I saw you at the Defenders Hall Festival when you guys got back together with that classic lineup about 15 years ago. So I've seen you guys so many times out there live, and you guys never disappoint when you played. And, going with Powerrage right now, I mean, because you've got that name recognition from Exciter, it brings people to the band, a little easier because they know who you are. But does it feel like you're starting over again? And like there's a lot of headaches that come with starting over, but there's also a lot of joy when people hear the new music for the first time and they say, this is just incredible. And you're getting like a whole new vibe off of it now. So is there a lot of good and bad to like starting from scratch again?
You know, it feels good because this time I'm 100% in control of everything. Uh, I'm not saying that because I'm egotistical, but I just felt I have such a strong musical vision, and I'm a feel player. So, all the music I write comes out in live performance. Like I'm not just going through the motions, so uh, I wrote songs for this record, so there's no filler songs. And I've said in previous interviews, it took me 2 years to write 8 good songs. I wrote a lot of songs, but I decided for one reason or another, I just, put them on the back burner because I didn't want any filler songs on this record. But it feels good to start from scratch. I have no distractions from anybody, and the whole band, all the band members are very loyal and dedicated to the vision I have. And as a result, all this creativity came out of me. So
Yeah.
I think that's why the record's so strong. When High Roller Records heard our initial 2-song demo that we did, I believe I sent them Haunted Hell and Dragon Man. Uh, they signed us in you know, within the week, like 7 to 10 days after they received the 2-song demo. They contacted me right away and they said, okay, you got a deal. You're signed. That's simple. But I had shopped our demo to like 19 other labels. It was 20 labels altogether from all parts of the world. 18, no reply. The 19th label said, I'm not interested. But High Roller tapped in to that vision and that sound. So it feels really good to try this a little more of a darker approach than Exciter, but still have the essence
Yeah.
that I have because ex most of Exciter's music and riffs were mine. The other guys wrote riffs too, absolutely, but I would always do my rendition of what they wanted to do. So I sort of adapted it to my style. So it feels really good to start from scratch, and the response is just overwhelming. I'm very humble.
Yeah. I mean, you have a very distinctive guitar sound and tone. I mean, it's like, where the singer a lot of times is the focus in the band because their voice kind of defines the sound of what the band is. With Excited, I always felt when I heard that guitar, I knew it was John. I knew who it was. That's how distinctive your guitar playing is. And it carries over to the Powerrage stuff. But I think you're playing at a whole nother level right now.
Well, you always try to become a better songwriter, and in heavy metal, everything's been done. Everything, like the song titles, the lyrics, the topics, the guitar riffing. I try to come up with always original guitar riffs. I get influenced by everybody and everything and different genres of music because I listen to everything. But on this record, I must say it is more calculated. Like I really wanted to write strong, strong guitar riffs that when you play them live, the audience knows right away, okay, this is this is a great song. I'm gonna headbang through the whole thing. I know what's coming, you know. So I always write songs from the audience point of view because I want to please the audience. So um, I think I think I've sort of have a good compromise
Yeah.
with the musical direction I wanted to take, and I knew exactly the market I'm going after. So it is more calculated with Power Rage. It's not as improvised as in Exciter days.
Well, you left Excited, what, about 8 years ago? Did you want to get back into another band right away? Did you just needed time, like to, downtime just to get yourself back together again and say, here, here's what I want to do? Because I was talking to Kurt Phillips a few years back from Witch Killer, and he's like, Todd is going to get something going soon with John from Excited. They got this band coming out. And then I waited a couple of years. Then I finally heard the news like a year or so ago that you guys were going to do this. So did it just happen like a couple of years back or not to the first time when you left Excited?
After Exciter, I just needed a long break
Yeah.
from everybody and everything. I have other hobbies. Um, but Todd, actually, I've known him since the 70s because originally he was one of our road crew guys
Okay.
for Exciter. And that's how we met, and then he went on to Witch Killer, of course. And but it was in 2022, uh, Todd approached me and he said, "Let's, John, you can't just sort of sit idle." And I said, "Todd, look, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm busy. I got stuff to do. I have other things to keep me occupied." And of course, but he pursued me for like for like many, 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 many months, like over a year of persuading me to get back into music. So I gave in. I said, "Okay, let's do this." Uh, but I'm in control. I said, "If you're okay with that, let's go for it. If not, we'll have to think of a plan B or something." But so I have to give all the credit to Todd for encouraging me to, get back into it.
A lot of I understand what you're saying about having control over the music. You want to do what you couldn't do in Exciter, I guess, and put everything that you have, all yourself into it. But the other guys in the band, did they, like you said, you're going to go with me, or you'll come up with another plan? Did they realize that this is your musical vision right now, and they're all going along for the ride with you, or can they contribute in some sort of way musically, where you say, hey, you know what, that may be something I was missing that we could use in the song? How does it go with the other members?
Well, I'm open, like, I'm not a tyrant when uh they can make suggestions, no problem. But I can veto them
Got it.
because if they're straying away from the original focus I have, I don't want that. I'm at the point now, I I call the shots and everything. I mean, unfortunately, that's the way it has to be to have some sort of success. I've matured my guitar style. Like it's a strong identity. I don't like nothing against my band members, of course they're all great. But I have the strong vision. I know it's going to be successful. Don't tamper with it. And that's just the way I wanted. So
Eventually new records are going to come out as time goes on. Is this the formula for each and every record now, or do you feel like Power Rage is that band where, depending on what kind of mood you're in or how you're feeling musically, it can adapt and change with each record and still kind of have the same vibe as the one before it?
on the next record, you mean?
Well, like the next one or one after that, is Power Rage going to be a band that can change sound and style from record to record, or is it going to go straight through
Well,
this
I
way?
well right now the way I feel is yeah, I'm gonna kind of stay in the same approach for records to follow for sure, for sure. Uh, but again, I'm going to take this record beast and I'm going to try to polish it even more with better songs on the next record. You
Yeah.
know, I I, I I think there's no way but up from this point onward. Because when you get all this positive feedback from around the world, of course it's a confidence builder, and you go, oh my God, I can do better than what I just did, and you try and you go for it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about the future. Uh, I know I have, and my old Exciter fans are diehard fans, but I think we're going to please the former Exciter fans and make a lot of new Powerrage fans. So once we get out playing live, then sometimes you go watch bands and you hear the record. Well, before you hear the record first, and you go, oh, that's not bad. Maybe if they come to town, I'll go see them. But when you go see them live, and then all of a sudden you got this visual presentation of the song you thought was mediocre, and it blows your head off when you see them like visually presented.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, how could I have been so naive and not like that song, on the record, it's awesome. It's awesome. Then you grasp how that musician um, you kind of get into their mind how they came up with all these great guitar riffs and choruses and verses, because they acted out, and then it all makes sense. Sometimes we just listen to like an LP or a CD, or you can't vision the song until you see it perform live. That's happened to me so many times, you know. So,
Well,
but I
that's
think
that's the way it always was. You go back to the late 70s, early 80s, most of the bands we discovered or came across, if you weren't like a tape trader back in that day, on the underground scene with the pen pals, you went to a club, you saw bands live for the first time, and that's how they won you over and you became a fan. Then you hope that there'd be a record by the band or a record would be coming out. So the only way I feel you can get a real representation of the band is by seeing them live. And this record, for as polished as it is, it actually has that live feel to it, this record.
the record was recorded in a rehearsal hall, which is a warehouse, and acoustically, it's totally incorrect because the sound in there is bouncing off the walls and the concrete floor. And every time we rehearse, I tell the guys, you know what? This sounds awesome in here. It sounds like the garage sound.
Yeah.
So I said, let me call old friend of mine, producer friend of mine, Manfred Lightdecker has a mobile studio. I'm going to ask him to come down and just record a couple of songs and see what they sound like. And like I was mentioning before, we did this 2-song demo, and it's live off the floor. We recorded the record off live off the floor. Just the vocals were done in a studio, but guitar, bass, and drums and lead guitar is just live off the floor. And in some cases, some of the songs, I played the guitar solo live like I would in concert. Like I didn't do like a rhythm track and then, okay, let's do the lead on top of it. I didn't do that. I know I'm just going with the rhythm with the rest of the band. Then I would break into the solo like I would live. And some of the songs, not every song, but some of the songs on the record are done that way, just live off the floor.
It has
So
that sound to it, absolutely. But do you feel that's important to when you write a song or write music to make it where whatever you play and record in the studio, you can recreate live? Because so many bands add so much to their music sometimes that we go to hear it live, like that doesn't sound right, because they can't recreate what they did in the studio. So is it important to keep it like where you can record it one way and play it the same way?
well, yeah, we always try to keep it as raw as possible. um, minimal overdubs. Uh, yeah, we make a point of just we have to reproduce it live because I know what you're saying. Some bands you go see them live, they sound nothing like the record. Like we know what happened. But no, we try to keep it very like primitive, high energy, like garage sound. But I mean, some bands don't want that. They want a nice polished sound, so they have more airplay on radio stations and more success that way. But with heavy metal, it has to sound like the band is in the room with you,
Yeah,
you know. So, so yeah, I mean, live off the floor, and we just had the other last week we had like a little listening party at a rehearsal hall, and we invited close friends, and our producer Manfred came over, and we're both there drinking our Guinness beer. We both like Guinness. And he says, John, he says, you were right. You were right. Recording in this warehouse. You knew it was going to work. You knew it was going to work. I said, I know, I know. I said, I just had this. When you hear the sound in this room, it just, it captures you. It captivates you. You want to hear more. You want to hear more. So, it was an experiment, but it paid off.
absolutely. Back in the 70s when bands like Judas Priest and Kiss and Rush and a lot of other bands were starting out, there was that chance that they couldn't make it to like the stadium level, go up as far as you can because the music kind of was radio friendly and appealed to a larger audience. When bands started coming out in 1980, 81, like you guys, Exciter, Metallica, bands like Slayer and other bands like that, nobody would ever think these bands could get signed to a major label and one day would be headlining like arenas. It just didn't seem possible back then. It was so underground. But then something broke and every band started, moving up the ladder. And next thing you know, you had headliners and arena headliners and stuff like that. Do you think that's possible today with any band starting out today?
It's much more difficult today than it was in the 80s because there's so many more bands and they're all really good. They're all, the great bands. So the industry can pick and choose who they want to make successful. So it's much harder today because it's much more competition. In the 80s, it was a new discovery. It was a new awakening, you know. It was so different. And initially, the industry didn't catch on. And it was key people. I'm going to mention Johnny Z from Megaforce Records. He knew right there and then. He knew the movement. He kept, you know, talking to me about Venom and Overkill, Testaments, like he got it. He got it early. You know, he, when our first record was actually Shrapnel Records,
Yeah.
San Francisco, with Mike Burney. But when the Heavy Metal Maniac was released, and of course, it was, huge underground success. Johnny Seaton kept calling me, come on, John, you got to sign with me. You got to sign me. Come on, we got to do this. We got to do this for the second record. I, I thought, yeah, okay, you go, no, we'll talk about it. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. But he was so persistent
Yeah.
that we signed with him for the second record. But he had the insight. I have to hand it to him. He knew what was going to happen as time evolved and heavy metal evolved. He was the key person, I think, for that whole 80s movement, that he was a strong character to help elevate what metal is today.
You got to have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. You really got to be a little bit ahead of everybody else. You got to have a clear vision. Like I know it's small right now, but it can become really big. And a lot of people don't want to take that chance. Bands wouldn't do that because they wanted to get radio play. Promoters wouldn't do that. So you really got to it's like a band. You got to throw your stuff into a van and travel all over the country with $5 in your pocket, hoping that you can make it from gig to gig. If you don't go all in, is it possible to even make it?
Uh, well, I haven't been on the road for a long time, but it's a lot of times it's not financially feasible to do extended tours and uh, like a lot of bands, like you say, will just play what everyone wants to hear and make everybody happy. But to me, that would be selling out my soul. I would never do that.
Yeah.
And as a result, if we don't get gig offers and we don't play as much as we should, I'm fine with that. You got to play what's coming from your heart and what your passion, So, but it's much harder to succeed today in metal because there's so many bands. I mean, every time I read Blabbermouth or Brave Words or Metal Injection or Loudwire, I mean, all these bands, uh, I, some of them I've never heard of, but obviously they have some sort of profile because they got this huge following. And I've never heard of the band. Like, who are these people, But there's a lot of competition. It's much harder. That's why, when with this record, Beast, I just thought I'd write, what my upbringing in metal made me as I am today. So I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know if people were going to like it. I didn't know if people were going to just blow us off. Uh, but I'm just it's much harder to be a touring band like today than, and there's a much more competition.
Yeah, it's a lot harder. I mean, if the tours come along, did it have to be the right tours financially? Is the financial aspect of it more of it than just getting out to play live? If you work through the tour and it says, oh, we'll break even or just make a little bit, or are you going to do the festival route? I know you're at Keep It True next year. They already sold out the night you guys are playing. So, I mean, that says something about what you're doing.
Well, I prefer festivals because they pay better.
Yeah,
And the flights, hotels, everything's
covered. Yeah.
to I mean, in the early days we toured, we did tour, we did a lot of minivan tours, across the US. We went coast to coast in the US numerous times. But it was difficult and money was tight and it's I don't know if I would do that again. If the circumstances are right, I would do it. But the festival gigs are the best kind of gigs to do, like one-off shows, like when I had my last run with Exciter from 2014 to 2018, it was mostly like one-off shows or festivals like in Spain or we did Los Angeles there. There was a gig at the Regent Theater in LA, uh, which was sold out. We're really happy about that one. But I prefer the one-off shows. I'm just at that point in my life.
Yeah.
Just to do the grind again, and I did it. I did it, like the Hammersmith Odeon in London, England. We were touring with Accept, and we did a 10-city tour. This is, I think, 85. And the Hammersmith, talking about hardships on the road, the way that building is built, there's different floors, of course, backstage, but there's no shower. There's no full bathroom you can clean up. And I was going from floor to floor looking for
Look at that.
and the crew, the crew at the show, I say, hey guys, where's the water closet, as they call it,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what? I said, I need to take a shower. He goes, hey man, there's no freaking showers here. I said, what? I said, it's a Hammersmith Odeon. He goes, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? So I had to wash my hair there was a sink, like
Yeah.
a sink to wash your hands.
Yeah.
Well, I got my head underneath the tap. I had to clean up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think I want to go through that again.
That's the glamorous part of being in a band that people don't get to see all the time, They just see you in expensive hotel rooms throwing TVs out the window and getting drunk. They don't see that part of it.
Well, we've stayed in nice hotels for sure, but I mean, I'm just telling you some of the road stories.
Yeah. I mean, if you go back to the early 80s, I mean, like I says, every band that came before another band kind of latched onto a certain sound and they kind of turned it into their own thing. Now you guys are like, 1980, 81, 82. There's no speed metal scene. There's no really fast music being played except had Fast as a Shark. Maybe there's one other band doing it. How did you create that sound and that speed when there really wasn't anybody before you doing it to draw from?
I was trying to imitate the 70s bands like Saxon, Judas Priest, Motorhead. I was just trying to take the new wave of British heavy metal and make it more extreme. The other thing I was influenced by was punk. Just the speed and the energy of a punk band playing three chords. Like, so I thought if I could take the punk energy and mush it in with, the 70s great bands, like I mentioned, maybe I can come up with my own style. That's how I came up with the Exciter style. And the turning point, way back, I think 1980, we did a four-song demo, and one of the songs was called World War III. And so it was on cassette, and it was recorded in Toronto at Nimbus 9 Studios, which is famous for early Alice Cooper records and Guess Who records. Like, because when you walked in the hallway, all you see is these gold records down the hallway, Alice Cooper and all that. So we recorded the four-song demo. Three songs in that demo were horrible, but one song, the World War III, was the beginning of the Exciter style. I kind of came up with this, chord progression. And it was Mike Varney that signed us on that song to appear on this compilation album called US Metal
Yeah.
Volume 2, US Guitarist Kill. And then when he contacted us, because I sent him the demo, I said to him, well, it's US Guitarist Kill. I said, we're from Canada. And he says, I don't care. You're going to be on the record. You're going to be on the record. I don't care. I don't care. So that song was the beginnings of the rest of the songs we wrote for our first record, Heavy Metal Maniac. Yeah, that song sprouted the Exciter style that you hear today.
Yeah. I mean, the first time you played a song for an outside audience, somebody that wasn't in the band or hearing it for the first time, did they shake their head and say, what the hell are you guys doing? Or were they just blown away by this new sound you created?
Well, okay. So I'm not going to answer that in this way. Our first professional gig was here in our hometown, Ottawa, uh, opening for Black Sabbath when Dio was the singer. And the concert promoter was a friend of mine, and it was an outside exhibition show. Every year we had this like an exhibition, like a fair, but there's a football stadium, and they'd have shows there. Anyways, the opening band, we were going to go to the show. We had seats, and the show was Wednesday night, but we had torrential rain here, so the rain date was Friday night, but the opening band couldn't make it. So on Thursday afternoon, I get a call from the promoter saying, you got to help me. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Do you want to open for Sabbath tomorrow night? It's like,
I got to think about that.
let me think about that. So I say, yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. So uh, we did the show, and we did every song from Heavy Metal Maniac in the exact order, like the record. And the people in the audience, they were Sabbath fans, and we were in our hometown, and we were known somewhat. And we started playing, like you say, all that fast, distorted stuff, and and the look on people's faces, they liked it, but they didn't. They looked confused,
Yeah.
totally confused. Like we like it, but what is this? Like, so you're absolutely right. Like initially, I can tell you many stories. A couple of more is before we got signed to Mike Varney, we had contacted an agency in New York City for possible management. So they granted us an appointment. We drove down to New York City, and I'm not going to mention who they were. They were big time people.
Yeah.
And we walk in the office. It was like, 9 o'clock on a Monday morning in downtown New York City. And it was on cassette. And the fellow had a cassette player on his office desk. And, he clicked play. And I think he got halfway through, stand up and fight. And he clicked it off. He ejects the cassette and he says, "Thanks for coming to New York." I know, it's like we had just driven 10 hours from
Yeah.
here to there. And he said, I don't think I can do anything with this. Because he doesn't get it. He didn't
Yeah.
understand. This is the future, but he didn't get it. Unless you sounded like, I'm not going to mention names, like more mainstream hard rock /
Yeah.
heavy metal bands, he wouldn't know what to do with that. So it was very frustrating, but initially.
Well, you made it work anyway. John, there's only like 2 minutes left. They're going to cut us off
Okay.
because I get a
Okay.
40-minute time limit. I could talk to you forever about everything going on, but I'm so happy. I mean, Beast is a beast of a record. That's all I can say about it. You killed on this album, man. And I can't wait for more music from you in the future when it comes out. So just keep it going and keep it up for as long as you can. We only got this much time left here on Earth, so let's make the most out of it.
Okay. I really appreciate your support. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you, John. Have a great night. Take care, my
You
friend.
too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Tormenting sound.
right, there you go. Brand new Power Rage. The Devil is Screaming. I want to thank John for the interview. And don't forget, next week, Kate from Kate's Acid or Just Acid is our guest next week. And I'm just talking to Jim Keeler from Surgical Steel. Trying to make it happen for next week if I can. If not, one maybe the week after that. But we'll see how that goes. All right, we got to get to. We got a few more things to get to over here. We talked about Dragon Force. Did I mention Steve Brown? You know, Steve Brown from Trickster. He's got a Bon Jovi cover band going right now called Forever Jovi or something. I think it's called. Let me look it up. Forever Jovi. Now, why would a guy who was in a popular band in the 80s, who had a couple of really big hit songs, I think his album went like 20 something on the top 100 chart, form a Bon Jovi cover band? It does not make any sense to me at all. I mean, and the funny thing is that they actually draw better crowds than Trickster does these days when they do play together. Maybe it's time to bring Mark Gus Scott back into the band. I don't know, but it's just funny watching him play in front of these big crowds. I'm like, with Trickster played, there'd be 50 people out there if you were even lucky for that. It's crazy, but that's what goes on in this crazy world today. You know, what am I going to say? Hey, good news at Saxon. They got a brand new record out. Biff was fighting cancer last year, and they still came back strong in 26 with a brand new record, and we're going to get the first single this September. So I'm looking forward to that. Saxon are one of the few bands that keeps delivering album after album, year after year. Of course, things change a little bit from, album to album, but they still kind of deliver that classic Saxon sound. All right. Well, let's get back to the music here. How about we do some Wicked Angel?
Statistically inclined to roll. Armies of missing nature are forming. They're on a pilgrimage upon a cross and penetrating the door without warning. 'Cause there's no mortal to stop the coming of my holy soldiers. They march to bring a curse on the land and the realms of chaos. The evil swords are lit with blood as they come down to take another life. They aim to murder our resistance under the banner of chaos and strife. 'Cause there's no mortal to stop the coming of unholy soldiers. They march to bring a curse on the land and the realms of chaos. The realms of chaos. Armies on the horizon with the mark of the shield. It's not a cross, it's a sign of chaotic command. With the blood of the field, it's the march of the clan. Dead bodies everywhere. This is no mortal, stop the coming of unholy soldiers. They march to bring a curse on the land and the realms of chaos. The realms of chaos.
All right, Christian has to know how much I love him because I never play Pantera on the show. That's actually not true. I play them once a year on the Happy Hair Metal show we do on New Year's Eve because, it's like kind of an insult that, they were a hair metal band and became what they became. I've never been a fan of Pantera. I enjoy those first couple of records, but nothing that they did later on. So, Christian, there you go, Pantera. Tell me if you want it. Before that, Hammer's Rule Stop the World and Wicked Angel with Realms of Chaos. I've been waiting to since they announced this Asian Steel tour to take place to see if it actually happened. It looked like the first show went off without a hitch. I don't remember where they're playing, in Czechoslovakia or something. It was a small crowd, but that's all they're going to draw anyway these days. The next day, I think they're playing in Romania, and John Cyrus wasn't allowed to enter the country. They said they give some crazy, asinine reason on their website why he couldn't get in there because he's a vampire or something. I guess they're making fun of the whole Dracula thing. I don't really get it, but I don't know if any of the other shows took place between then and now. I think the next one will be tomorrow, so we'll see what happens with that. I just don't get this guy's so off the fucking wall. This guy, everything he does is so crazy and insane. He has all these Facebook pages where he's different people and he acts like he's them. And maybe he really was pro by aliens. I don't know. He's really off the wall. And personally, all the new music I don't like. And they got this guy Nikolai playing guitar with them, and he was in the band when they reformed this some years back. And then he left the band after that fiasco at the Keep It True festival. And then he said he was going to sue the band because they were using his music on the newest record they put out. Then 8 months later, he's back in the band again. So I don't really get the whole procedure, what's going on over there, but that's not really Agent Steel to me. You got to take it back to the early 80s for that to be Agent Steel. But we'll keep track of this tour, see what happens with the rest of the shows. I'm not too sure. All right, let's get back to the music here. How about some Bishop Steel, Killing Asylum?
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. On earth as it is in heaven. On earth as it is in heaven. On earth. Do you remember the times that you crushed? Do you remember the suicide? Like healing leeches, we drew blood to exercise your inhibition. Reach a figure down the line who gives you the final week. Now the pages seem to rise, you forgive and wash in his sink. I don't know if that is it, or if we choose our sides. But as I'm drowned, oceans of fear when there are only peaceful tides. Death, the ultimate insanity. Death, the ultimate reason to live. No time, no cordiality. You've got to live because nobody lives forever. I try not to slip on my sweat. Nobody lives forever. Nobody laughs that. No, no. Walking the streets alone at night, everybody's lost. Darkness slowly creeping on the corner. He's dead, and so we'll find the key to hell. Fire's taking hold, but the master will pull out. No, I want you to know, want you to know, so you will know. As he raises his fist to the sky, from all trouble to listen. Come my children of the wicked into my own world. So we'll all see you can go. Everything is frozen. Place our hands forever high. Soon will I live? Will I live? While we live, say it alright. Walking the streets alone at night, everybody's alone. Darkness slowly creeping on the corner. He's dead, and so we'll find the gate to hell. Fire's taking hold, but the master will call out. Yo, I want you to know, want you to know, so you will know. See you in hell, see you in hell. You want my children out the wicked, children out the wicked, children out the wicked.
Okay, Wrath with Children of the Wicked. Before that, Hallow's Eve, Nobody Lives Forever. Can somebody get a hold of Stacey Anderson and get him to reform this group again and go back? I mean, go do the festival circuit. I would actually go fly somewhere to see Hallow's Eve live. They were always one of my favorite bands to see live back in the 80s, and I would kill to have them do it again. And before that, 44 Magnum with Holy Angel and Bishop Steel, Killing Asylum. We're going to wrap it up here tonight. I want to thank John Ricci from Powerrage for being on tonight's show. Don't forget, next week, Kate from Kate's Acid is our guest. We'll see how that one goes. And we're going to wrap things up here tonight. I remember a couple of weeks ago I was telling you about Getty Zach's, the original guitar player Nick Brown is reimagining all the old songs. This isn't a Getty Zach's release. This is his own thing that he's doing. and he has a different singer coming in here, and they're just reimagining all the old songs. So I'm gonna play something off that for you right now, and we're gonna call it a night. So take care, everybody. I'll see you next week, and here's 666.
When the Jews return to Zion, and the comet rips the sky, and the Holy Roman Empire rises, then you and I must die. From the eternal sea he rises, creating armies on either shore, turning men against his brother, till man exists no more. It's written on the wall, he is the answer to Emmanuel. Open up the doors, he is the image of the netherworld. He has to be. Beware, beware, it's the number of the beast. Dreams all turn to nightmares. It's the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast. Servants of the dark, he is the one who bears the mark. Human he appears, but he's the spawn of the dog. It's got to be. Beware, beware, it's the number of the beast. Dreams all turn to nightmares. It's the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast. Poisoning the mind, he waged a war across the land. No one could perceive the execution